This car isn't registered.
Karen!
My name's Daniel Hayes, and I've lived in Maplewood Reserve for almost 10 years. It's your classic suburban neighborhood, cul-de-sacs, trimmed hedges, pastel-colored homes that all look like they came out of the same builder's catalog. On the outside, everything seems peaceful. Quiet. Even charming. Inside the walls, though. Well, every paradise has a snake. Ours was Karen Whitfield, the HOA's self-appointed security chairwoman. Even saying her name feels like inviting trouble. She was one of those people who believed rules were holy scripture, but only the ones that gave her power. Gray bob haircut, oversized sunglasses she wore even at dusk, clipboard glued to her arm like an extension of her spine. She walked the neighborhood with the confidence of someone who believed she ran it. And honestly, she almost did. But she had no idea who she was messing with. Because while the neighborhood thought I worked from home as a consultant, I actually owned a small but successful private security company contracted by businesses across the county, including the very retail strip mall the HOA used for board meetings. And yes, my company had installed the entire surveillance system. But I didn't lead with that. I'm a quiet guy. A mind-my-business type. Until someone forces my hand. And Karen? Oh, she forced it hard. My trouble with her began one Thursday morning. I walked outside to find a bright orange violation notice slapped across the windshield of my car, a sleek black SUV I kept spotless. The notice read: Unauthorized vehicle parked on HOA grounds. License plate not registered. Which made no sense because I'd lived here longer than half the current HOA board. I shook my head, peeled the sticker off, and shrugged it off as an error. But the next morning, another notice. Then two more. Then a warning fine. I walked to the mailbox cluster and saw Karen waiting for me, arms crossed. Morning, Daniel, she said in her syrupy sweet yet irritating tone. Morning, Karen. Something wrong with my parking permit? Her lips tightened. Your vehicle isn't listed on the HOA registry. All cars must be registered for community safety. I filled out the form last year. Well, she said, tilting her head, I don't have it. So unless you fix that, the citations will continue. I couldn't believe her. Karen, you've seen me driving this car for years. She shrugged. Rules are rules. That's when I knew this wasn't about safety. This was about control. A week later, I walked out of my house and froze. Karen was yanking on my SUV door handle like she was trying to break into it. She muttered angrily, jiggling the locked handle. I shouted, HOA. What are you doing? She whipped around, eyes wide behind those obnoxious sunglasses. Oh, Daniel. Didn't see you there. I'm performing a routine inspection. A what? Inspection. She cleared her throat. I have the HOA master key, and your vehicle isn't registered, so I need to check if it's abandoned or unsafe. I blinked. I actually blinked like a confused cartoon character. Karen, I said, trying not to laugh, no key opens car doors. That's not how anything works. It should have, she snapped. Your door must be damaged. I stepped closer. You tried to open my locked car with your HOA key. She huffed. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind a simple inspection. Neighborhood policy. I took a slow breath. There is no policy allowing you to break into someone's car. She lifted her chin. Then why didn't your car open? I couldn't believe what she said next. She replied. Because you must be hiding something. And I have the responsibility to ensure community safety. And then, I swear I thought I misheard, she said. If you don't cooperate, I'll have the police handle this. I looked at her. Calm. Dead calm. That's when I knew I had to fight back. An hour later, because of course she did, Karen called 911. I watched from my window as she pointed dramatically at my SUV, pacing like she was narrating a true crime documentary. When the patrol car arrived, I walked outside. The officer, a young guy named Reese, recognized me instantly. "Morning, Mr. Hayes," he said with a smirk. "We got a report of suspicious activity, involving your own car." Karen shoved past him. "Officer, arrest him. He's hiding illegal." Reese held up a hand. "Ma'am, please step back." She gasped. "Why aren't you listening to me?" Reese sighed. "Because there's no crime here." Karen sputtered. But he refused an inspection. The officer looked at her like she was speaking Martian. "Ma'am, HOA rules are not criminal law." "But I have the master key," she insisted, waving her shiny brass key. Reese's lips twitched. That doesn't open cars, ma'am." Karen stomped her foot. "This neighborhood is unsafe because of him. He's unstable." Reese raised a brow. "Mr. Hayes is one of the calmest people I've ever met." She frowned. "How would you know?" Reese looked at me and said, "Because his company has trained half the officers in this district." Karen froze. Her jaw opened, then closed. She hadn't known. She had no idea. After the police left, Karen doubled down. She started sending daily emails. "Your car violates community aesthetic standards. Your vehicle model is too large for driveway allowances. Park on the street again and you will be towed." I ignored them. Then she escalated. One afternoon, I checked my home security feed, yes, cameras I installed myself, and there she was. Taking photos of my car from every angle, muttering to herself. I had enough. It was time to fight back, efficiently, legally, and decisively. Because I owned the security company contracted by the retail plaza where the HOA held meetings, I had access to weeks of surveillance footage. Footage that included Karen removing notices from homes she liked. Karen slapping violations on homes she didn't. Karen entering the HOA office after hours to alter files. And yes, Karen attempting to open my locked SUV while looking over her shoulder. I compiled everything. Timestamps. Angles. Logs. All clean, legal evidence. Next, I filed a harassment complaint. A property tampering claim. A misuse of HOA authority report to the county. And finally, a motion for a full audit of HOA practices. I didn't send anything to Karen. I sent it all straight to the HOA board, plus their attorney, plus the county compliance office. 23 pages. Detailed. Organized. Unavoidable. The next HOA meeting. Packed. Standing room only. Karen walked in confident, chin high, but that faded fast when the board president cleared his throat and said, "Karen, we need to discuss serious allegations against you." Her eyes widened. "Against me?" No, Daniel is the problem. He's hiding criminal activity." That's when the projector clicked on. And up on the screen. Footage of Karen pulling on my SUV door. Footage of her photographing my car. Footage of her entering the office late at night and altering files. The room gasped. "No," she whispered. "This is out of context." But the board wasn't done. The secretary pulled out her printed emails. A stack thicker than a sandwich. "Karen, you issued 47 violations in 1 month. 39 of them weren't valid under HOA bylaws." "That's impossible," she muttered. Then the treasurer said. "And we discovered you charged expedited citation fees, which are not authorized. Where is that money?" The room buzzed. Karen's face went white. The president sighed. "Karen, you are hereby removed from your position pending county review." Effective immediately. Karen pointed at me, shaking. This is his fault. I leaned back and said calmly. No, Karen. This is you, breaking the rules you claimed to protect. She stormed out, ranting, cursing under her breath, nearly tripping over a chair. The county finished their review. Karen was fined. The HOA was warned. New elections were held. My car. Fully registered, because I made sure they fixed the system. Neighbors started stopping me on walks. Thank you for standing up to her. I was scared to say anything. You saved this community. And maybe the best part. The board asked me to help design a new neighborhood safety program, one that actually made sense. I agreed, but only on one condition. No more power trips. A few weeks later, as I walked past Karen's old house, she'd put it up for sale, of course, a neighbor asked. Dan, don't you ever feel bad for how it ended for her? I thought about it, hands in my pockets, sun setting behind me. No, I said. I didn't do anything to her. I just held up a mirror. Because that's the truth. People who abuse power crumble the moment someone stands up to them. Bullies thrive in silence, until you speak. And justice? Well, justice usually wears quiet shoes.